Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 2nd of March 2022. Let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Consider the following statements with respect to Bardoli Satyagraha. Number 1. It is a movement in the independence struggle led by Vittalbhai J. Patel for the farmers of Bardoli. Number 2. The movement was launched against the unjust raising of taxes by the British government. Number 3. Mahatma Gandhi supported this movement through his writings in Young India. Which of the given statements is or are correct? Why have we taken this question? Before we discuss, pause the video, mark your answers and let me know in the comments section how many you could get right. Now, this article in the PIB today has a reference to the Bardoli Satyagraha and that is why we've taken this question. So what was Bardoli Satyagraha? Back in the year 1925, Bardoli, which is in modern-day Gujarat, was hit by floods and this adversely affected the farmers. They were financially distressed. But ignoring the plight of the farmers, British government in Bombay Presidency increased the tax rates by 22%. And despite farmers' pleas to reduce the taxes, they went ahead with the tax collections. And this went on for quite some time. In the year 1927, the local Congress party published a report, and in this report it showed that the farmers could not carry the burden of increased taxes, but this was also ignored by the British government. So, in January 1928, the farmers in Bardoli invited Vallabhbhai Patel to launch protest movement wherein all of them resolved not to pay the taxes. Door-to-door campaigns were held. Hindu, Muslim and Parsi communities also participated in this protest. Gandhiji also lent support to this movement through his writings in the Young India magazine, even though he was not directly involved in these protests. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel became an exemplary commander of his non-violent army at Bardoli. As a result of this satyagraha, taxes were reduced and the farmers were also given back their confiscated lands by the British government. And consequently, Sardar Patel emerged as a national leader after the success of Bardoli Satyagraha as he had showed his remarkable organizing skills. Now let us go back to the question and mark our answer. Statement number 1 becomes incorrect because this struggle or protest was led by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and not Vittalbhai Patel. Statement number 2 and 3 are correct as we just discussed. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, 2 and 3 only. Moving on to question number 2. Consider the following statements with respect to Bhakra Beas Management Board or BBMB. Number 1. It is a statutory body that is constituted under the Punjab Reorganisation Act 1966. Number 2. It regulates the supply of water from Satluj, Ravi and Beas to the states of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. Number 3. It regulates the supply of power generated from Bhakra Nangal and Beas projects. Which of the given statements is or are incorrect? What is the context? According to this article in today's Indian Express newspaper, the central government has amended the rules regarding the appointments of 2 key positions on the Bhakra Beas Management Board, and this has met with opposition by the political parties in Punjab. Let us learn more about this Bhakra Beas Management Board. On the reorganization of the erstwhile state of Punjab on the 1st of November 1966, the Bhakra Management Board was constituted under Section 79 of the Punjab Reorganisation Act of 1966. The administration, the maintenance and operation of Bhakra Nangal project were handed over to this Bhakra Management Board in the year 1967. Later, the Beas project works, which were under the Beas Construction Board, after their completion were transferred to the Bhakra Management Board. And this was done as per the provisions of Section 80 of the Punjab Reorganisation Act. And it was then that this Bhakra Management Board was renamed as Bhakra Beas Management Board or BBMB. Now coming back to the question. Yes, the Bhakra Beas Management Board is a statutory body that was constituted under Section 79 and Section 80 of the Punjab Reorganisation Act of 1966. Therefore, statement number 1 is correct. Yes, it is involved in regulating the supply of water from Satluj, Ravi and Beas to the states of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. So statement number 2 is also correct and statement number 3 is also right because this body regulates the supply of power generated from Bhakra Nangal as well as Beas projects. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option D, none of the above, because the question is asking us for incorrect statements. Now let us take a look at its other functions. As we've already discussed, this body regulates the supply of water from rivers Satluj, Ravi and Beas to the states of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. Power supplied by Bhakra, Nangal and Beas is also regulated by this body, and this body provides support in various fields of hydroelectric power projects and irrigation projects. And an additional function of this body is that it is also involved in the construction of new hydropower projects within as well as outside of the BBMB or the Bhakra Beas management system. Now let us take up question number 3. Which of the given statements with respect to International Federation of Association Football or FIFA is or are correct? Number 1, it is the international governing body for futsal and beach soccer. Number 2, FIFA being the highest global governing body of football sets the rules of the game. Number 3, FIFA Congress is the supreme legislative body of FIFA in which each of FIFA members has a vote. Number 4, it is a member of the International Football Association Board. What is the context? This article in the Indian Express newspaper today says that FIFA as well as the Union of European Football Association have decided to indefinitely suspend all the Russian teams from participation in all the competitions run by both the football bodies. So what is FIFA? Let us understand as we discuss the answer. See, FIFA is the highest global governing body of football. That is, FIFA is responsible for organizing as well as promoting the football's major international tournaments and most importantly, the Football World Cup. Besides this, it is also important for us to know that this is the international governing body for futsal, which is a kind of a mini football that is played indoors on a hard court. And this is played between two teams of 5 players each. As well as it is the international governing body for beach soccer, which is played on the beach. Therefore, statement number 1 is correct. Now coming to statement number 2. Please remember that FIFA does not set the rules of this game. The International Football Association Board does this. And FIFA is a member of this board. That is why statement number 2 becomes incorrect and statement number 4 becomes correct because FIFA is a member of the International Football Association Board that sets the rules of the game. And lastly, statement number 3 is correct because the supreme legislative body of FIFA is the FIFA Congress and here each of the FIFA members has a vote. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, 1, 3 and 4 only because only statement 2 here is incorrect. Moving on to question number 4. Which of the given statements is or are correct? Number 1, United Nations High Commission for Refugees or UNHCR is a UN refugee agency dedicated to saving lives, protecting the rights and building a better future for refugees, forcibly displaced communities and stateless people. Number 2, UNHCR was created in the year 1950 to help millions of Europeans who had fled or lost their homes. Number 3, UNHCR is the only international organization to have won the Nobel Peace Prize more than once. Number 4, India is not a party to the UN Refugee Conventions. What is the context? According to this article in the Hindu newspaper today, around 6.7 lakh refugees have moved out of Ukraine for a safer place in the neighboring countries and close to 1 million people are internally displaced. And it is in this context that we've taken a question on the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. See, the UNHCR is a refugee agency under the United Nations and it works towards saving the lives of refugees, protecting their rights and also ensuring that they have a better future. So statement number 1 becomes correct. So when was UNHCR created? This body was created in the year 1950 in the aftermath of World War II. This was the time when millions of Europeans had lost their homes during the World War II. And to help these refugees, this agency was created. So statement number 2 is also correct. Now coming to statement 3. Yes, UNHCR has received the Nobel Peace Prize twice for its work. But is it the only international organization to have won the Nobel Prize more than once? No. Statement number 3 is incorrect. The task for you for today is to let me know in the comment section which international organizations have won the Nobel Peace Prize more than once. Now coming back to the question, statement number 4 is correct because India is not a party to the UN Refugee Conventions. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option A, 1, 2 and 4 only. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2016. What is Greenhouse Gas Protocol? Option A, it is an international accounting tool for government and business leaders to understand, quantify and manage greenhouse gas emissions. Option B, it is an initiative of the United Nations to offer financial incentives to developing countries to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to adopt eco-friendly technologies. Option C, it is an intergovernmental agreement ratified by all the member countries of the United Nations to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to specified levels by the year 2022. Option D, it is one of the multilateral RED Plus initiatives hosted by World Bank. So what is this Greenhouse Gas Protocol? See, Greenhouse Gas Protocol is an international accounting tool that helps the countries as well as cities to quantify their greenhouse gas emissions. This Greenhouse Gas Protocol provides standards as well as tools that help the countries to track their progress towards the climate goals. Therefore, the most appropriate answer to this would be option A. Now let us take up the fact of the day for today, which is Facility for Low Carbon Technology Deployment, or FLCTD. What is the context? According to this PIB article, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, or BEE, commemorated its 20th Foundation Day by organizing the National Innovation Conclave on Low Carbon Technologies. So this conclave was intended to provide a platform to present innovations. What sort of innovations, you may ask? Those innovations which help in energy saving and those innovations that have greenhouse gas emission reduction potential when they are used at a large scale in industrial as well as commercial sectors. And this article has a reference of the Facility for Low Carbon Technology Deployment, and that is why we've taken this up for discussion today. This Facility for Low Carbon Technology Deployment was a project that was launched in the year 2016. So now let us discuss more about the Facility for Low Carbon Technology Deployment. See, the objective of this project is to identify innovative energy efficiency and low carbon technology solutions so that the technology gaps that exist today in the Indian industrial and commercial sectors are bridged. Please remember that this project is financed by the Global Environment Facility, or the GEF, which is a multilateral financial mechanism. See, this GEF was established during the Rio Earth Summit in the year 1992. And this is jointly managed by the UNDP, which is United Nations Development Programme, the World Bank, as well as the United Nations Environment Programme. And India is both a donor as well as a recipient of funding from GEF. Now coming back to the Facility for Low Carbon Technology Deployment. This project is implemented by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, or UNIDO, in collaboration with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, or BEE. And this project, in order to promote innovation of low carbon technologies as well as its deployment, conducts an annual innovation challenge competition. And this competition will identify the innovative ideas for low carbon technologies as well as solutions to improve efficient end use of energy, which will in turn help in reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. So this project has identified 6 priority technology verticals for its innovation challenge. And those are Industrial Internet of Things, Industrial Resource Efficiency, Electrical Energy Storage, Waste Heat Recovery, Space Conditioning, that is refrigeration and cold chain, as well as pumps and pumping systems. And this project, that is the FLCTD, will promote the deployment of the winning technologies under these 6 verticals so that it will help to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions in the longer run. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.